people, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic damn day. Welcome back to the channel. We will be breaking down England's 4-3-3 Gareth Southgate tactics. Yes, that is right. England 4-3-3. They do also play a back five, I know that. They haven't played it for a little while, but I will be breaking that down in the future. But until then, we're going to start off with the 4-3-3 more attacking lineup. Now, we've got Harry Kane up front. We've got Rashford as well as Saka on the wings. Now, of course, Rashford can be swapped in and out for either a Sterling or a Grealish. It doesn't really matter too much. As for the midfield, we've got Phillips, Rice and Bellingham. And then we've got Luke Shaw, who I know is injured at the moment, but more or less Luke Shaw. Harry Maguire, Stones and Kyle Walker as the defenders. And then between the sticks, we've got Jordan Pickford. Now, in the subs area, we've got Jack Grealish, Foden, Maddison, Henderson, Ramsdale, Trent Alexander-Arnold and Guehi. And then in the reserves, we've got Trippier, James, Wilson, Mount, Pope, Gallagher, Eze, as well as Chilwell. Now, with the formation going forward, it's a 4-3-3 standard holding. No real changes. I haven't done or altered any positions, so it's one goalkeeper, two centre-backs, two full-backs, one DM, two central midfielders, one striker, and then two wingers. Now, with the tactics going forward, under Gareth Southgate, they try and implement a press after loss of possession. They are quite good and quite effective with this press. I mean, you've got a lot of young, fresh, energetic legs that can be able to close down lanes and so on. And I mean, Saka, Rashford or Sterling on the wings, very capable of closing down from those wide areas, as well as you've got great fullbacks who are very capable of inverting a bit more, making sure that they're flooding the midfield and winning that ball back nice and high up the field. So, as for the team width though, I've set it to 60. It's a nice widespread, almost a zonal marking approach. They do, mark those wider areas quite effectively and efficiently, stopping crosses from being delivered into the box. But there is obviously always a downside to it. Sometimes your midfield can be overrun. Sometimes the opposition can find those key, crucial passes, passing it through the lines of your central midfield. And of course, there is always a give and a take with these sorts of things. As for the team depth, though, I've gone with the 70 width. Now, it is on the higher side of mid-block, you could say. It does also help try and protect the likes of a Harry Maguire and a John Stones in the back line. It does also allow you just to be a bit more structurally sound as well, because it's not the highest of lines, of course. You do have the ability to have your recovery fullbacks, or with the recovery pace, make those runs and try and, win the ball back and try and stop any potential fast breaks or counter-attacks or through balls. You name it, they're going to try and stop it. It is, like I said, it's the high side of a mid-block. Anyway, moving on to the offense, the build-up play, I've set it to a balanced approach, looking to dominate games through possession. Sometimes I've heard England fans describe it as we're passing the ball for passing the ball's sake. So they do try and, slow things down a bit more at times, but at the same time, they can look to trigger those fast breaks. Now, I mean, we saw last night versus Italy, the Marcus Rashford goal, that was very much a transition goal, one that was built up on pace, power, quick thinking from the likes of Foden and Bellingham, as well as Rashford to finish off the goal. But at the same time, you don't really want to have that always implemented. You want to try and have a slower build-up play to try and get the best out of your other players, such as your Sakas or potentially your Harry Kanes, who aren't the fastest. I mean, Saka is quite fast, but Harry Kane, I'm talking about him, for example, he's not the fastest of players. So if you have that consistent, fast-paced build-up, you don't really always get the best out of your superstar striker. And then, as for your chance creation, I've set it to possession-based football, of course, being a bit more careful with the ball, waiting patiently with it, waiting for the opportunities to arise in the box, potentially opening up certain passing angles, passing lanes by flooding the attacking third with added bodies, and that's why and how you can replicate an England breakdown on the offensive side of things. As for the team width, I set it to 80, trying to, flood the attacking third, like I say, either with fullbacks overlapping or potentially inverting, as well as your wingers trying to hold a lot of the width in this team going forward. It does also open up a lot of space for the likes of Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, as well as the other midfielders like a Declan Rice, and in this case, a Calvin Phillips, somehow, some way. It does open up a lot more space for them to try and function and as well as try and create for others. Now, as for players in the box, I've set it to 7. I've set it to 6, my mistake. And what that does is it allows your front 3 to get into the box with your midfield 3 and sometimes your fullbacks being in and around the attacking third, waiting to either supply the ball, rotate the ball, or just try and pop off shots from just outside the attacking area. And then as for corners and free kicks, as per always, it is set to 4. So starting the instructions off with the goalkeeper, Jordan Pickford. Now, I have gone with a base set of instructions for him, as I don't think he does one thing overly well or really badly to warrant you trying to implemented in the game. So as for saving on crosses, he's not really fantastic with claiming those aerial balls that are whipped into the box. He looks to try and punch them at times, which is why I've gone with a balanced approach. That will also create the ability for him to be a bit more cautious with the crosses and sometimes have the ability to be a bit more aggressive and attack them and claim them and alleviate the stress and the pressure. And then because you aren't playing the highest of lines, I've set him to having a balanced approach. Sometimes he can make those runs off of his line, but more times than not, he's going to try and hold his line and make the goalkeeping save. Of course, he is decent with the ball at his feet, can spray those long passes into the forward line. We have seen that countless times for England, as well as Everton. He is a very capable player with the ball at his feet, of course, and you can still do that with this set of instructions as well. Then moving on into our back line, we've got Stones and Maguire there, since their base set of instructions. Whereas for Kyle Walker, he is set to join the attack and overlap as well as stick to position. You want him supplying the width down the right hand side. He's one of the best in the modern game that makes those overlapping runs consistently, trying to put balls into the box, whether it's a cutback or a cross. He's very, very good at doing so. Then on the left hand side, we've got Luke Shaw, who is set to join the attack. Normal sections are set to be on forward hand, as well as having a run type of mixed. You want him either creating the width down the left hand side, making those overlapping runs of the left winger, or potentially linking up with the midfield, making those underlapping runs. Either way, he's going to be creating space for a Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, or so on. And then as for his defensive position, I would set to stick to position. Then, moving on into our midfield, we'll start off with the base. Declan Rice, he was damn near fantastic, might I say. You know what, he has gone up levels since joining Arsenal. It pains me to say that, but anyway, he has. Cut passing lanes is set to be on form, of course, being the thorn in the opposition's offensive build-up side. Very good with just making sure he's positionally correct and trying to stifle the opposition's build-up play. As for the attacking support, however, he does get forward a fair amount. So essentially, he will be a bit more of a box-to-box player, which I quite like. He does add a nice element to the attacking third for England. So you know what, you want him, just being a bit higher up the field. Whereas for his interceptions, I would say to be normal, and then in terms of his positioning freedom, it's set to stick to position. You don't really need him to be the deep line playmaker. That's what the likes of Jude Bellingham is in the team for. And then as for the defensive position, I would say to cover the wing. So either slotting in as a left back or a right back at times, trying to fill the void that your bombing on fullbacks will inevitably leave. And then we've got the likes of Calvin Phillips. Now, very controversial that he's still in the team after getting less than 700 minutes since last season and now. But anyway, point being is, he is more or less going to be your DM, but he plays slightly higher up the field. And what this does is it creates a nice dynamic approach where you have this pressing defensive presence that can win the ball higher up the field if need be, or potentially just dropping deeper and collecting it, helping the likes of Declan Rice. So he is set to stay back while attacking. That will help him drop a bit deeper in certain moments. Stay on the edge of the box, of course. If he does get the higher up the field, he will look to try and facilitate on the edge of the area, trying to win those balls back if they are fired outside of the box or something like that. Aggressive interceptions, though, are set to be on. He is going to be the chief discipline implementer, you could say, by making sure that he is being very physical with the opposition. Cover the wing, of course, and then stick to position. Then we've got the man himself, Jude Bellingham, Real Madrid's superstar, you could say. He is set to get forward, get into the box. Normal sections are set to be on for him, cover the wing, and then free roam. And what essentially all these elements do is create him as an out-and-out number 10. Even though we are playing a midfield 3, he will essentially take up the number 10 role, getting into the box, attacking crosses, making those little intricate passes, linking up play quite well with the likes of Harry Kane as well as your two other forwards. And we do see that more times than not. Either he's creating on the edge of the box or he's in the box waiting for the cross to be fired into the central area. Now, moving on into our forward line, we've got Saka, Rashford and Kane. We'll start off on the right-hand side. We will start off with Saka, of course, one of the best talents England have seen in a very, very long time. I will definitely say that. He's set to come back on defence, stay wide, creating a lot of space on those wider regions. In this case, it's the wide right-hand side. He's also set to get in behind, trying to test the opposition's backline more times than not, and then aggressive interceptions as well as get into the box is essential. Now, for the likes of Marcus Rashford, he is set to come back on defence. In fact, it's the same as Saka, creating the width down the left-hand side this time, making those attacking runs, creating those 1v1 situations wide, creating the space down the wide left-hand channel. Getting him behind is essential for Rashford. Even at Manchester United, it's super essential for him to test the opposition's backline, making those runs in behind, waiting for those quick counter-attacking situations. Normal interceptions though are set to be on for him and then get into the box. Now, the reason I've gone with Saka to be aggressive and Rashford to be normal is, I mean, even at Manchester United we've seen his defensive pressure isn't like all there at the moment. You can go with aggressive. I think if Raheem Sterling's in the team, you go with aggressive. But for Rashford, I have gone with a normal approach. Then for Harry Kane, he's said to having a balanced width in terms of his support runs, making those central runs, of course, but sometimes drifting slightly out wide, creating space for Jude Bellingham to operate in, especially if he's operating as that number 10. In terms of his attacking runs, I think Harry Kane needs to have a mixed array, a dynamic approach. It gets the best out of him with his passing talent, his attacking talent. Making those runs from behind obviously isn't always the best thing for him, but he can do so if need be. Dropping off though is essential. Sometimes dropping off, collecting the ball, spraying passes either to a Bellingham or a Rashford or a Sterling or whoever's in your front line, he can definitely do that. We saw that Spurs, he was very, very good at supplying Son with those balls. But also being a target man, being that out and out centre forward, hold up play needs to be essential for this role to be effective. Anyway, normal interceptions are set to be on form. You don't really want him overly pressing too much, and he's never been that type of player. You always are trying to save him for the attacking outlet. And then with the defensive support, I've been set to come back on defense, dropping off the back line in certain moments, putting players out of position, as per always. That is what you're trying to replicate with this, but at the same time, also in the builder play, he will be a bit more involved. And like I said, you want him to be able to get on the ball and supply those longer passes in behind for the forwards to try and latch onto and then try and exploit the opposition with. So if you do replace the likes of Rashford with a Grealish as well as a Saka with a Foden, both of their instructions will definitely change. Foden and Grealish will have the same instructions, but basically come back on defense is essential, helping the fullback more times than not. Stay wide, still creating the width in the team, but this time they will come short, sometimes linking up with the midfield a fair amount, drifting inside, pulling either a left back or a right back out of position, sucking them into the central areas and allowing more space for your fullbacks to develop into in the attacking third. And then aggressive interceptions will be set to be on for both of them, as well as having a support on crosses set to balance. That is essential, sometimes making those attacking runs into the final third, other times looking to hang around the edge of the area and just potentially try and facilitate. Now, as you'll see here for Foden, he's got the same set of instructions as well. I think this more or less gets the best out of Foden and Grealish in the England setup. And there you have it, my people. That is my version of Gareth Southgate's 4-3-3 lineup for England, of course. If you have enjoyed this, smash that like button. It does help the channel. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. It helps the channel grow. So, mad love, mad appreciation if you can do that. Obviously, if you are new, hit that red big button. That would be damn near fantastic. But until the next time, as in tomorrow, we have got some fantastic things coming here tomorrow, by the way. We've got our Throwback Thursday, which I'm very excited for. And just for shits and giggles, I'm doing another set of tactics. So, until the next time, I hope you have a damn great day. Subscribe, like, share. Mad love.